Hello and welcome back to English Everyday Podcast. I'm Sam, and oh my goodness, can you believe it? We're here in 2026. Happy New Year! I am so excited to be back with you today. Seriously, the energy I'm feeling right now is incredible, and I hope you're feeling it too. This is our first episode of the year, and I've got something really special to share with you today that might just change how you approach not only this year, but maybe your whole life. Quick reminder, speak with me using the captions. No pauses, just shadow me as I talk. All right, let's go. So, you know what? Every single January 1st, I used to do the same thing. I'd sit down with this beautiful new notebook. You know, the kind I'm talking about, right? The fancy one you've been saving for something special. And I'd write out all these amazing goals for the year. I'm talking big stuff. Learn Spanish fluently, read 50 books, get in the best shape of my life, start that business I've been dreaming about, travel to 10 countries. I mean, the list would go on and on and on. And I'd feel so pumped up, like, yes, this is my year. This is when everything changes. But then, you know what happened? February would roll around, maybe March, and I'd completely forget about that notebook. I'd find it months later buried under some papers on my desk, and I'd feel this wave of guilt wash over me. You know that feeling? Like, oh no, I failed again. Another year, same story. Here's the thing, and I really want you to understand this. It's not that we're lazy or that we don't have discipline. The problem is that 12 months is just too long. Think about it. When you set a goal for an entire year, it feels so far away, right? Like you have all this time. So what happens? You procrastinate. Procrastinate means to delay or postpone something, to put it off until later. You tell yourself, oh, I'll start next week. I'll start next month. I've got plenty of time. And before you know it, 6 months have passed and you haven't even started. It's like this invisible thing stealing your dreams, you know what I mean? So here's what I discovered, and this completely changed my life. Instead of setting goals for the whole year, what if we broke it down into 3-month chunks? 3 months, that's it. 90 days, give or take. Now, I didn't come up with this idea out of nowhere. There's actually research behind this, and many successful people and books talk about this concept. I first came across this idea in several places, but one that really stuck with me was in the book The 12-Week Year by Brian Moran and Michael Lennington. The whole premise of their book is that a year is too long and that we should treat every 12 weeks, basically 3 months, as if it's a full year. Mind-blowing, right? Let me tell you why 3 months is absolutely perfect. First of all, it's short enough that you can actually see the end. When you start on January 1st and you know you need to achieve something by the end of March, that's tangible. Tangible means something you can touch or perceive clearly, something concrete and real, not vague or abstract. You can visualize it, you can plan for it. It's not this distant, fuzzy future thing. Second, and this is huge, 3 months creates this beautiful sense of urgency, not panic, not stress, but healthy urgency. You know you don't have forever, so you actually get started. You take action. And action, my friends, that's where all the magic happens. You can have the most perfect plan in the world, but without action, it's just words on paper. Let me share a personal story with you. Last year, in 2025, I wanted to get better at public speaking. I've always been nervous speaking in front of groups, even though I do this podcast. Podcasting is different because I'm just talking to you one-on-one in this intimate way. But standing in front of a crowd, that terrified me. So in January 2025, I didn't say, this year I'll become a great public speaker. Instead, I said, in the next 3 months, I will give 3 presentations. Just 3. That's 1 per month, basically. And you know what? I did it. I joined a local Toastmasters club, and by the end of March, I had given 3 talks. Were they perfect? Absolutely not. But I did it. Then for the next 3 months, April through June, I set a new goal. Give 5 presentations and attend a public speaking workshop. Done! And I kept building on it 3 months at a time. By the end of the year, I had spoken at a conference. Me, the person who used to shake just thinking about public speaking. That would have seemed impossible as a 1-year goal, but broken down into 3-month segments, totally doable. All right, so let me break down exactly how you can do this for yourself. We're starting fresh here in January 2026, so this is perfect timing. Grab a notebook, your phone, whatever you use, and let's do this together. First, think about what you really want to achieve. And I mean really want, not what you think you should want, not what other people expect from you, but what lights you up inside. Maybe it's related to your career, your health, your relationships, learning English, starting a hobby, whatever it is. Got it in your mind? Good. Now here's the key question. What could you accomplish in 3 months that would make you proud? Accomplish means to successfully complete or achieve something, to finish what you set out to do. Now, not what would be nice, not what would be easy, but what would genuinely make you feel like, wow, I really did that. Let me give you some examples. If you want to improve your English, don't just say, get better at English. That's too vague. Instead, say something like, in the next 3 months, I will complete this podcast series, watch 10 English movies with subtitles and without, and have 5 conversations with native speakers. See the difference? It's specific, it's measurable, and you can actually check if you did it or not. This is so important. Your goals need to be specific. Vague goals lead to vague results, or usually no results at all. I learned this the hard way. When I used to say, I want to read more, nothing happened. But when I said, I will read 1 book per month for 3 months, boom, I read 3 books. Let's talk about another example. Say you want to get healthier. Okay, great. But what does that mean? Instead, try this. For the next 3 months, I will exercise for 30 minutes 4 times per week, and I will eat vegetables with lunch and dinner every day. Now that's something you can work with. You know exactly what you need to do, and at the end of 3 months, you can look back and see if you did it. Now, here's something really cool about the 3-month approach: flexibility. Flexibility means the ability to adapt and change, to bend without breaking, to adjust your plans when needed. Life happens, right? Things don't always go according to plan. Maybe you set a goal but realize halfway through that it's not right for you, or circumstances change, or you discover something better. With yearly goals, people often feel like they have failed if they change their goals midway. But with 3-month goals, you've got built-in review points. Every 3 months, you stop, you assess, you reflect. You ask yourself, did I achieve what I set out to do? If yes, amazing, celebrate. If no, why not? Was the goal too ambitious? Did I not really want it? Did something else become more important? And then, and this is crucial, you adjust. Maybe you accomplished most of your goal, but not all of it. You can carry some of it forward into your next 3-month period. Or maybe you completely crushed your goal and you're ready for something bigger. Beautiful! Set a new challenge. Or maybe you realized this goal isn't actually what you want anymore. That's okay too. You've only lost 3 months, not a whole year. You can pivot and try something different. Let me walk you through what I do at the end of every 3 months. I call it my review and reset. Around the end of March, end of June, end of September, and end of December, I set aside a couple of hours, I make myself a nice cup of coffee or tea, and I sit down with my goals. I ask myself these questions. What did I accomplish? What am I proud of? What didn't I accomplish? Why not? What did I learn about myself? What do I want to focus on next? What should I let go of? And you know what? Sometimes the lessons I learn from what I didn't accomplish are more valuable than the things I did accomplish. Failure, or let's call it incomplete success, teaches us so much if we're willing to listen. Now, let's connect this specifically to English learning, because I know many of you are here to improve your English, and this 3-month approach is perfect for language learning. Think about it. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time, years even, and that can feel overwhelming and discouraging. But if you break it down into 3-month goals, game changer. For example, instead of saying, I want to be fluent in English, which is this huge, intimidating goal, you could say, in the next 3 months, I will learn and use 50 new vocabulary words in real conversations, I will watch 1 English YouTube video every day, and I will write in my English journal 3 times per week. Doesn't that feel more manageable, more achievable? And here's the beauty of it. After 3 months, you'll actually see progress. You'll notice you understand more. You'll feel more confident. And that progress, that visible improvement, that's what keeps you going. That's what builds momentum. I want to share a story about one of my podcast listeners. Her name is Maria, and she reached out to me last year. She told me she'd been trying to improve her English for 5 years, but always felt stuck. She'd start strong every January with these big plans, but by March, she'd given up. So I suggested she try the 3-month approach. For her first 3 months, she set just 2 goals. Listen to this podcast 3 times a week and speak English with a language exchange partner once a week. That's it, nothing crazy. And you know what? She did it. For the first time in 5 years, she actually stuck with her plan for more than a month. Then for her next 3 months, she added one more thing. Reading English news articles 3 times a week. And she kept building on it. She sent me a message recently saying that for the first time, she actually feels like she's making real progress. She's not fluent yet, and that's okay, but she's moving forward consistently, 3 months at a time. I was so proud of her. All right, let me give you some practical tips to make this work. First, write your goals down. I know everyone says this, but seriously, write them down. There's something about putting pen to paper or fingers to keyboard that makes it real. Put them somewhere you'll see them every day, on your bathroom mirror, on your phone wallpaper, on your desk. Keep them visible. Second, tell someone. Share your goals with a friend, a family member, or even on social media if you're comfortable. When other people know what you're working toward, it creates this healthy accountability. You're more likely to follow through when someone might ask you, "Hey, how's that goal going?" Third, track your progress. This doesn't have to be complicated, just a simple check mark on a calendar when you do the thing you said you'd do. It's incredibly satisfying, and over time, you'll see this visual representation of your effort. On days when you feel like you're not making progress, you can look back and see all those check marks and think, actually, I am doing this. Now, let's be real for a second. You're going to have bad days. There will be weeks where you don't stick to your plan. Life gets busy, unexpected things happen, sometimes you just don't feel like it. And that's okay. That's part of being human. The difference between people who achieve their goals and people who don't isn't that successful people never mess up, it's that they get back on track faster. They don't let one bad day turn into a bad week, or a bad week turn into giving up entirely. If you miss a day, or even a week, just start again. Don't waste time feeling guilty or beating yourself up. That doesn't help anyone. Just say, okay, that happened, and now I'm starting fresh right now. The beautiful thing about 3-month goals is that you've got time to recover and still achieve what you set out to do. There's this concept I love called momentum. Think about pushing a heavy cart. At first, it's really hard to get it moving. You're pushing, and it feels like it's barely budging. But once it starts rolling, it gets easier and easier. It builds momentum. That's exactly what happens with your goals. The first few weeks are usually the hardest. You're building new habits, fighting your old patterns, convincing yourself to do things that aren't comfortable yet. But if you can push through that initial resistance, something magical happens. The new behavior starts to feel normal. It becomes part of your routine. And then it's not this huge effort anymore. It's just what you do. And here's where it gets really exciting. The compound effect. When you achieve a 3-month goal, you gain confidence. That confidence makes the next 3-month goal easier. And as you stack these successful 3-month periods on top of each other, you're not just achieving small goals, you're becoming a different person. You're becoming someone who sets goals and achieves them, someone who follows through, someone who keeps their promises to themselves. Think about it. If you set and achieve 4 3-month goals in a year, that's 4 wins. 4 times you get to celebrate. 4 times you get to feel proud. 4 times you prove to yourself that you can do what you set out to do. Compare that to setting one big yearly goal that you probably won't fully achieve and feeling disappointed at the end of December. Which sounds better? One more thing I want to mention. Make it fun. Goals don't have to be this serious, heavy thing. Yes, they're important, but they should also bring some joy and excitement into your life. Find ways to make the process enjoyable. If one of your goals is to learn English vocabulary, turn it into a game. Challenge yourself to use new words in funny sentences. If your goal is to exercise, do activities you actually like, not what you think you're supposed to do. If you hate running, don't make running your goal. Find something else. Dance, swim, play a sport, whatever makes you happy. The more you enjoy the process, the more likely you are to stick with it. And honestly, life's too short to spend 3 months doing something you hate just because you think you should. Find the version of your goal that excites you. So, my friend, here we are at the beginning of 2026. You've got 12 months ahead of you, which sounds like a lot, but I want you to think of it differently. You've got 4 amazing 3-month periods, 4 chances to set meaningful goals, work toward them, achieve them, and celebrate them. What are you going to accomplish in the first 3 months of this year? By the end of March 2026, what do you want to look back on and feel proud of? Take some time today or this week to really think about that. Write it down. Make it specific. Make it something that matters to you. And remember, you don't have to change your whole life in 3 months. You just have to take meaningful steps forward. Progress, not perfection. That's what we're after. I'm going to be here with you every step of the way, releasing new podcast episodes to help you with your English and to keep you motivated. We're in this together. And I genuinely believe that if you embrace this 3-month approach, by the end of 2026, you're going to be amazed at what you've accomplished. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Thank you for being here, for working on your English, for being someone who's trying to grow and improve. That takes courage, and I respect that so much. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who might need this message right now. And I'd love to hear from you. What's your 3-month goal? Let me know. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and remember, 3 months at a time, you've got this. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.